programs to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500. This is WNZK, Dearborn Heights, Detroit, your ethnic superstation of 690 days, 680 nights.
Good morning. My name is Ike Engelbaum. I'm the host of the Bright Side of Aging and the Entrepreneurs Network radio show. Due to popular demand, today we bring back Bob Allison's Ask Your Neighbor radio broadcast. Bob passed away last March, and due to the current COVID crisis, his broadcast left the air after nearly 60 years of solving household problems for the neighbors. But today, we'll devote a portion of this broadcast to helping you, the neighbors. It could be looking for a particular recipe, where to buy it, how to do it, advice of travel or personal matters, and more. I've invited Bob's son, Rob, to join us for his thoughts and input. Rob has been a critical part of Ask Your Neighbor for some 25 years. The Ask Your Neighbor website, askyourneighbor.com, still offers a number of Bob Allison's popular cookbooks and hundreds of recipes as well. Do you have a common household problem that you'd like solved? Well, while we're on the air, why don't you call our call-in number 248-557-3300 and ask your neighbor. That's 248-557-3300 for the next hour. Wow. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Ike Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate, all sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Ori's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Ike Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. And I also want to remind you folks about Prince Hardware. I love the place because it's got every conceivable gadget that you see on TV about getting around in the house and all. For example, automated lights that light on as soon as you walk in. John B. Frentz, back in 1932, moved to Royal Oak. And in regards to the personal service, the family offered the community store that provided those needed everyday hardware items. I go in usually for one item and I end up walking out with about 3. Prince Hardware is located on Main Street, an 11.5-mile road in Royal Oak. And according to Popular Mechanics, the magazine actually listed it as one of the top 12 hardware stores in the United States. If you need anything at Prince, you will find it. In fact, maybe that should be his tagline: find everything at Prince. Like the old joke goes, if they don't have it, you don't need it. You can call them directly at 248-544-8111. That's 248-544-8111. And of course, I like to plug our toll-free number, which is available to you any time of the day, and including actually holidays as well. The toll-free number is 888-489-8980. The format of our show is that we do the first half hour devoted to seniors, and also in memory of Bob Allison, who used to do Ask Your Neighbor. We ask you to be neighbors, and now with what's going on in our country where you really can't physically get together like we did before, the wonderful thing about telephones and radio is although we are apart, we are connected. And the human voice is still the most best way, I should say, of staying in touch. I try to find interesting people and points about life that will make your life more enjoyable, no matter what happens. And I'm so excited to have a friend that I've known since last century, I believe. His name is Michel Rayford. And I'm not quite sure if I got the right pronunciation of your first name, Mr. Rayford. Could you correct me unless I corrected it already?
Yeah. You corrected it just well. You are fine. It's always great to hear your voice, Ike.
I believe you're a singer, aren't you? Because you got such a beautiful voice, as I recall. I know you're very active in Christian religion, and you are my kind of guy, because you and I, when we were doing health fairs together, really were just a dynamic duo, as I like to call it. And you have 4 adults as offspring, is that correct?
Yep, my wife and I have four great kids, yeah.
Right. And you've been involved in the home health care field, right on the front lines. And now you're into the health insurance aspect. So first of all, give me a brief summary of your background, Michelle, and then we'll go into what you're doing now. Go for it.
Well, thanks, Ike. Again, it's great to hear your voice again. I haven't heard you in a long time, but I'm so pleased that you're still hosting Ask Your Neighbor. And so I've been involved my entire life in healthcare in some form or another. 20 years with the Detroit Medical Center in management there, and then the last 20 years or so in healthcare on the provider side, and then for 11 years now on the insurance consulting side. And I like to say that I don't sell insurance. I try to inform people about their insurance choices and then help them make the best choice for themselves. And then walk with them while they pick the best plan for them and stay with them. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 11 years. I just love working with seniors primarily. There's so much information out there, and it can be confusing. And so we just try to clear up some of the misinformation and help folks get in a position to make the right decision for themselves.
Well, you're 100% about the confusion that's out there, because there's so many options. Would you like to give out a phone number if someone wants to get a hold of you and discuss what they have and what you feel you could do to benefit them?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yep. So the best number for me is area code 734-931-0198. I'll do that again, 734-931-0198. That's always active. Call anytime, whatever time is best for you. So I learned from you. If you're not working, you're not working. And so I'm always available.
Yeah, well, good. I know you're a devoted guy, and I just wanted to lead you to what the situation is now. People are in the sort of a deadline type mode almost. Is that correct?
Well, they are. Open enrollment for Medicare Advantage started on on October 15th, and it runs through December 7th. And so we've got about 2.5 more weeks to make changes, unless you have what's called, a special election period. So if you have changes in your situation, then there are some other times. But October 15th through December 7th is open enrollment. And then one of the things I do like to remind people is if you make a decision during that period and you don't like that decision, you decide in January, I took the plan, I really don't think I like it. I want to go back to where I was. You can do that from January 1 through March 31 of every year. It's called open enrollment. You can make one more change. So if you pick a plan now, and if you get a phone call or you see one of those ads on television and Joe Namath says, call me, I'm going to help you find a plan. And Joe Namath is a great guy. I loved him as a football player. And I'm sure he's a fine, fine gentleman. But I do like to tell people, when you call that number, you're not going to talk to Joe. He's going to send you, you're going to talk to one of his agents, and that's a good thing. But what I do like to encourage people is that if you can talk to someone who lives where you live, sometimes I know we can't do it now during these troubling times with the pandemic, but sometime soon we're going to be able to get back together and see each other face to face. And I always say it's always best, no matter what you're buying, to work with someone that you can look at face to face. And so if you need some counsel, because picking a Medicare Advantage plan is not a one-time shot. You're going to want to every year make sure that you're in the right plan, make sure that your health needs are still being met by the plan that you're in. And sometimes you just want to sit across the table from a person, look them in the eye, and have a conversation with them. And so we're looking forward to the time when we'll be able to do that again soon. So we're praying that everyone gets healthy, and then next year we're able to, be face to face. And so for that reason alone, you want to try and work with a consultant that lives here where you are. So, hey, we can get together and have a cup of coffee next year. Mm-hmm. But it's important to remember that during that change period in January 1 through March 31, if you pick the plan that you really don't think that you like, you do have one more opportunity to change that plan. The other thing that I would remind folks is that if you're turning 65 next year, you can join a plan 3 months prior to the month of your 65th birthday through 3 months after the month of your 65th birthday. So if you're turning 65 next year, you can pick a plan. You don't have to wait until next year's annual election period. You can join a plan anytime. And there are 63 plans that you can pick from if you live in Michigan. So that's not too many. The good part about that is you got lots of choices. The bad part about that is that you got lots of choices. 63 different plans to pick from, and you may not know which one is best for you. So we'll sit down and ask you some questions and try and help you determine what it is that you need your health plan to do for you, and then we'll find the plan that works best for you.
Mm-hmm. Now, am I right in assuming that you are not restricted to just one particular insurance company? You're able to pick others, or are you restricted to just one particular insurance company?
No, well, thanks. I represent 5 companies, and then I work with a couple of other gentlemen who represent some different companies, so we can always find the one that's best for you. I represent for HAP, our hometown company. They're a small regional right here. I think that we had offices right there in the building where you are for many, many years.
Right.
I represent Priority. WellCare, and WellCare is a great company. It used to be Meridian. People may remember the name Meridian. It was started by Dr. Cotton many years ago, a local DMC physician. So WellCare, Humana, and Blue Cross. And so those 5 companies, HAP, Priority, WellCare, Humana, and Blue Cross, I represent for. But if you have another company that you like, maybe your neighbor has another company, that I didn't list. If that's one that you want us to look for, we can always get their information, and help you. So we're not going to steer, we're going to steer you to the place that you want to be, not the company that we rep for.
I think that's dynamite, Michelle. Truth of it is, I hear this commercial that drives me up a wall, so I won't mention the commercial itself, but he sells cars, and he says, if you walked into a car dealership and all they had was one color and one model, you'd walk right out, wouldn't you? Well, come to our, we got all kinds. So, the only good thing about the pitch that he has is the fact that people want choices, and you expressed it beautifully. The good news is that you have choices. And I'm not going to put you on the spot, Michelle. I'm not from the Internal Revenue Service. You don't really get more money from any of these companies. They pay, obviously, you have to make a living. They pay the same amount. So you are really working on the customer side. It's in a way, like a real estate agent. Are you the buyer or the seller? And depending on the attorney that's handling the case, he's obviously going to be biased to whichever side he represents. You don't represent any side. You couldn't care. You represent the patient side. Is that right?
I represent the client side. That's the great part about being in the business that I'm in. You're absolutely right. And I don't get paid any more. Two things. One, the client pays me nothing, so you never pay. If you want to call and talk to me for an hour about what plan you're looking at and decide not to do anything, that's fine. Like you, Ike, I love to talk. And so an hour's worth of conversation costs you nothing. Right. If you buy one of the plans that I represent, the client pays me nothing. Mm-hmm. I am paid by the company, and I get paid the same amount no matter what plan I sell you. So if you buy a 0 premium plan where you pay nothing for it, I get paid a commission. If you buy a plan that costs you $138 a month, I get paid exactly the same commission. So it is not in my best interest to sell you a plan that costs more money than you can afford. In fact, I want to make sure that people buy the plan that they can afford. And so there are often times when people will call, they have one plan in mind, and I'll look at that plan for them. I'll see what that's going to cost them. We look at a number called TROOP, T-R-O-O-P, true out-of-pocket cost. So not only what does it cost for me to pay the premium, I tell people that the premium that you pay for a plan is the cost for the privilege of carrying that card in your purse or your wallet. That's all it gets you. Whatever the premium is, you're going to pay that every month whether you use the plan or not. And so the plan doesn't care what you do with that card. You can scrape ice off of your window in the wintertime, or you can spread putty with it in the summertime, but you're going to pay the premium. So why not pay the least premium that you can and get the most amount of benefits that you can? And so that's what we're trying to find, is that sweet spot where you pay the least, get more. Now, insurance is, I don't want to call it a racket, but I have to tell the truth. Insurance is that thing that if you want a low premium, you don't want to pay much for it, then you're going to pay more when you use the plan in out-of-pocket costs. If you're willing to pay a higher premium each month, then you're going to pay less at point of service when you use the plan. It's And so we want to balance that and make sure that people, that this is an affordable, option for folks. Unfortunately, health insurance is something that we all need. I hope you never have to use it. That's the other thing about insurance. Ike, have you ever sold a product that people that people never want to use?
Mm-hmm.
Well, insurance is that product. You didn't leave your house this morning saying, "Gee, I hope my house burns to the ground." I pay that house insurance premium every month. You're not hoping that somebody crashes into your car today because you pay your car insurance. But insurance is that type of product. You buy it before you need it. You hope you never have to use it, and you can't get it when you need it. Right?
Yeah. No.
It's a strange product.
Yeah. Well, it's a necessary product as well. And I look upon it as a safety net for your health, and then of course auto and home insurance. Again, it's a safety net that if you're in that unfortunate situation where you're in an auto crash or your house burning down, and worse yet, let's face it, health is the most important part of life in terms of actually enjoying it. It's one thing that you think that, hey, I'm going to save money by not buying health insurance. Boy, when you need it, you want to make sure that you got the coverage. And I know you on a personal basis, and that's why I value our friendship, because I know the only way that you become as successful as you are is because people actually refer your service to their friends and family. And I know that personally, and I admire that. Why don't you give out your phone number twice? Because I know you got to run. A phone number to get a hold of Michelle is, go ahead.
734-931-0198. That's 734-931-0198. Mitchell Rayford.
All right, and he will actually roll you forward, Rayford.
I will roll you forward.
Well, there's something there. I don't know what. Right now, unfortunately, I got to take a brief break, and we'll be right back to sort of wrap it up, as they say. Don't go away. Thanks again, Michelle. For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I'm a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruz Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUZ, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruzhearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruz Hearing, ask for the free cookbook and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids, you'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. Do you like snacks? Well, why don't you try the Aury Bakery folks that have now created 3 new flavors of gluten-free granolas: maple vanilla, blueberry, and toffee chocolate, all sold in 16-ounce bags for just $4.99. All new is Ori's cinnamon pull-apart, made with Danish dough and rich cinnamon filling. It's great with coffee or milk and hard to stop eating. You will find all these items at the Aury Bakery Market on Farmington Road between I-96 and Plymouth Road in Livonia. Try it out. As Jackie Gleason used to say, how sweet it is. As they say in showbiz, it's great to have what's called a segue. And the best segue I can give you right now is we just finished off that brief spot for Aury Bakery on how sweet it is. Guess what? I've got an even better deal. I have the joy of having a delightful lady who is a rose that's sweet. In fact, guess what? Her name is Rose Sweet. Is that right?
That is right.
I am so delighted that we got to know each other through a friend, Harry Pivos, who is a top-notch accountant. He's one of these specialists in his field where he's taken accounting and made it simple for people to understand. And he recommended that you contact me because you have got both missions in life that I have. And number one, the next segment that I try to do on this show is to talk about entrepreneurship and business. And of course, this segment we devote to how we can help seniors. And this may be, as they say, TMI, too much information, but I purposely have devoted my media career, quote unquote, and my day life to trying to help people in different segments or portions of their life. Let's face it, in the initial parts of your life, you are looking to establish a profession. So many times there's so many choices that you have to make as to how do I spend my life enjoying working. So I do the segment on entrepreneurship. Then, of course, as I like to say, you could get chronologically blessed, not aged, but blessed. You suddenly realize that, hey, I can't do what I did before. And if you're able to make the right contacts, and that's part of what I do, is there is nothing a senior may need that I cannot put you in direct touch. And Harry said, hey, you gotta talk to Rose Sweet because she does both. You, first of all, actually have been in the entrepreneurial field of providing what's the official name? One Step Bus or?
No, that sounds like One Step Beyond. No, it's called Step On Bus Tours. And Step On Bus Tours is geared to senior citizens. And we traveled not only all over the state, but throughout the country and throughout the world.
Wow. No, I've heard wonderful things. In fact, Harry would many times take the day off just to get on one of your tours.
Harry would do that. Harry Pivos is located in Troy, and it's Harry Pivos and Associates. I have to give him a plug because he's such a good guy. And he would take the day off, and he would come on my trips. Yeah, right. And God bless him because he was such a fascinating person, and he would tell the most anecdotal stories about various TV personalities like Ozzie Nelson of Ozzie and Harriet, and how Ozzie accidentally wore one of his famous blue alpaca sweaters to the IRS.
Oh.
So he could not write it off.
Uh-oh.
But no, so one of the things that Harry likes about my trips, there are many things he likes, he tells me, but he loves the mystery trips because he never knows where I'm going to take them, and he knows it's going to be just wonderful.
They say for every obstacle there's an opportunity. In fact, I promote the Optimist Club that I belong to because, in fact, anyone listening that wants to join me now, the situation is we can't get together physically, but I like to say we can be socially connected. So you could call every Tuesday morning, at least the West Bloomfield one, from 9 to 10. And the Rotary Club that I belong to, again, wonderful, wonderful people. In fact, tomorrow we're delivering turkey meals to some needy families. It's just the joy that you have in helping needy people enjoy part of the holiday that they normally could not afford to do on their own.
Yes.
And that's the type of thing that you can do as you age. And that's why I strongly encourage you folks, call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980 when we're off the air. But for the next half hour, I welcome you to call us on the air and share your thoughts and concerns. And if you want to recommend someone like we just gave a plug to Harry's accounting service, anybody that's helped you in the plumbing and electrical, the housing type things, moving. In fact, we assist in that area as well. One good thing now is you can do a lot of this on Zoom and also with the various webinars and all. It's certainly not the same as being physically there, but boy, and that's something you might want to consider, Rose, that we might do some of these tours that you've had. And from what Harry tells me, you're a great facilitator and sort of docent type. Is that right?
Yes, and a comedian too.
Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, for one flat fee that anybody can.
Yes. It's a very fascinating, when we do day trips, they're just fascinating because my goal is to tell people as much as possible and make sure they have fun hearing it.
Right. Well, the good news is one of our sponsors has a service of virtual type tours, and we've been kicking around the idea that if there's any part of the world or the city of Detroit or surrounding areas or Michigan that you'd like to feel like you're there, we can make arrangements where you can actually feel like you're right in there. If you're interested in that, toll-free number that I always like to give out, 1-888-489-8980. And if you're running into any difficulty with all the nice technology, sometimes it's down. So if you don't get a response, try it again. And likewise, while we're on the air, it's 248-557-3300. And Rose, I just wondered if you would get a little bit personal. How long you've been around in the business?
Well, Ike, you never ask a woman her age.
I did not ask you age. I just said how long.
You're getting there. It's getting around the corner.
I've
been self-employed for 28 years.
Uh-huh.
And I have had a very colorful life. I'm only counting the 28 years of my professional self-employment, not prior to that. But I do have to give a plug to, even though they're defunct right now, is Stone & Simon's Advertising. I was the director of public relations there, and actually I started bus tours for the Dearborn Inn.
Wow.
And the Dearborn Inn was a fascinating place at that time because it was so filled with Americana. All the greats stayed there. It was exciting. And politicians as well. And that was exciting too. Did you know that the Fords used to dine at the Dearborn Inn frequently?
Oh, really?
Yes, I thought that was pretty cool. Never went up at that time. I didn't ask them for their autograph. Now I wouldn't hesitate. And actually, I got into bus touring through Stone and Simon's advertising. They gave me my first taste. I promoted the Dearborn Inn, and then other places around Dearborn wanted me to include them.
Well, the next best thing to actually being there is now with the technology, you're in your own environment, and I'm not trying to get political in terms of the masks and all, but masks do help. If you stay 6 feet apart and keep in a small group, why not have the joy of staying connected that way? The human voice and being able to see things that you enjoy together. You could be in your respective homes, see the same tour, and you'd have someone like Rose Sweet make it really sweet.
Absolutely. Being a terrific Polish gal, I always pass out something Polish to the people on the bus.
Oh, listen.
Not pierogi, but other fun things.
Well, one of our sponsors is Joyview Market, and they got all the Polish stuff that you want.
Yes, they do.
So here's what I envision before we take our break, which is if you want to enjoy a Polish experience in your own home, or make arrangements so that you can see portions of the world, and buy something out of Joyview that's Polish, so you can eat and see and enjoy each other's company.
That's right. That's right.
Only in America.
Yak shamash.
Right. So if you're interested in setting something up that's fun on a virtual basis, call our toll-free number 888-489-8980. And before we take our break, I'd like to give out our on-the-air phone number now. We're going to be on for about another 20 minutes. You want to share some thoughts about how you plan on spending your holiday? It's not too late to set something up virtually with technology. So unless you've got some thoughts as well of what you're planning, call us while we're on the air, 248-557-3300. That's 248-557-3300. Right now, we will take a brief break. Don't you dare go away.
What business are you in? What do you sell? Has COVID changed how you acquire business? We now live in what marketing experts call the attention economy. Old school marketing tactics aren't working. Getting your business noticed in a world where eyes and ears are tuned to speakers and screens 16 hours a day requires a planned approach to get attention. If you care about your business tomorrow, you gotta change how you're marketing today. You may not be able to outspend the competition, but with the right help, you can outthink them. Located conveniently in Troy, Michigan, Grow Studios can help you shorten the sales cycle and deepen your relationships with your clients. We do this by helping you develop video and audio content that helps your target audience develop a trust for you and your product or services. Grow Studios is a friend of the Entrepreneurs Network of Michigan. Ask Ike about growstudiosclub.com.
For over 30 years, Cruz Hearing and Service has helped thousands of neighbors improve their hearing and enjoy the sounds of their life again. In fact, I'm a client. If you don't hear as well as you'd like, Cruz Hearing can help you. They have an excellent selection of hearing units to fit just about any need and budget with financing available. Trust me, I can attest to that personally. They have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Farmington Hills, Taylor, and their newest in Waterford on M59, west of the airport. Phone Cruise Hearing Aid Service toll-free for a free hearing evaluation. Their phone number is 877-456-CRUISE, C-R-U-Z, or visit them on their web at cruisehearing.com. That number again is 877-456-2789. Financing is available. And Bob Allison, who is no longer around, was one of the clients, and Bob Allison's cookbooks are available. If you call Cruise Hearing, ask for the free cookbook and get a free hearing evaluation at the same time. For that, call 888-489-8980. Call 1-888-489-8980. Even if you don't get the hearing aids, you'll still get a free hearing test as well as a free Bob Allison cookbook. 1-888-489-8980. One of the joys that I have in doing the Bright Side of Aging segment, as I've called it, and the Ask Your Neighbor, and of course the Entrepreneur segment, is that it gives me an opportunity to reach out to whatever age you are. In fact, the magazine that I publish is titled Bright Side of Aging. It's part of the the American Senior Gazette newspaper. And we've been doing that only for about 60 years. It actually was published on a monthly basis. Now we've sort of cut it back on a quarterly basis. But the beautiful part about it is that I have an opportunity to actually mingle and promote people like Dan Nichols, who actually started Go Studios, and I'm helping him in not only growing businesses grow bigger, but if you want to develop a home-based business, believe it or not, we can help you start your own home-based business via technology at an affordable price. We have financing available that you can try it out possibly for as little as $100. Of course, we want a commitment, and that's the whole key in life, is that you have to decide on what you want to do. And I promote the importance of finding something that you feel you're good at and find out a way how you can earn income at it. In fact, that's what we help you do. We do an evaluation as to what your strengths, weaknesses are, and then I promote people who practice that particular concept. And I'm so excited to have Rose Sweet in studio today, because she is like a poster child of what I promote. Are you a poster child, Rose?
Actually, yes, I am.
There you go. I did not misrepresent you,
No,
right?
absolutely not.
The thing is that you had a step on bus tours. Things have changed, and in your earlier life, I'm not going to mention age or years ago. No. You were a nurse's aide, right?
I started my first job was as a nurse's aide. I believe every teenager should work for a nursing home, because that teenager will learn how to treat people for the rest of their lives. We are all human beings, and then as we age and have to go into a nursing home, a little bit of kindness goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have a sponsor, House Calls on Wheels. I practice what I preach. When I get an idea, I find top-notch people that help me make it happen. And House Calls on Wheels' mission is, just as you briefly described, let's face it, You cannot, as I like to use my Ikeisms, aging is inevitable, wisdom is optional, okay? So suddenly, as you're aging, and you can't, quote, do what you once did, that does not mean you have to become a recluse or make a prisoner of yourself. We can help you in your home, and you do caregiving, is that correct?
Yes, I do. I do caregiving even on holidays.
And even on holidays. So, I know you're very affordable. You work within people's budgets because many times you get involved with these agencies that because of their overhead and their size, they cannot afford really to offer a price that a patient might need. And I also work with some nonprofit organizations where they subsidize the care. And Medicare and also Blue Cross, if you have a medical need, if you, of course, have to be a client, they take care of the medical portion. But the non-medical, like grocery shopping, helping people around the home, and basics that, we take for granted when you're younger, you usually have to do out-of-pocket expense. You have very little out-of-pocket expense if you deal with house calls on wheels, and that number is 888-489-8980. And as far as caregiving, I understand you do light housekeeping as well. And
yes. We have to decide that up front, though, because what I think is light housekeeping and what you think is light housekeeping are two different things.
It might not be that light.
It might not be that light. Might be lots of heavy lifting. And I also will take care of a house if you're going on vacation and you need it to be cleaned and organized. I did that for 9 days. That included taking care of 2 dogs.
2 dogs.
Two dogs and an overloaded house, and I accomplished the objective.
Wow. Well, I know you personally and how devoted you are. And right now, there's a delightful lady that I've had the joy of knowing. Her name is Glenna Schmidt. I hope you don't mind my giving out the name because I love to say your name, Glenna. Hello, Glenna.
That's right. I have a couple questions for Rose.
Yes, Glenna.
Do you have a brochure with your travel agency?
Could you repeat the question?
Do you have a brochure?
Yes, I do. Would you like one?
Yes.
Okay. I will get your information at the break. Okay, so just hold on.
Well, and also what I was going to suggest is if you call our toll-free number 888-489-8980, I'll be more than happy to send you the brochure. And also, anyone that's listening that has a friend that they want to help out, this is one of my pet peeves, and I'm so glad you called in, Glenna, because you remind me of someone that's active, and since I've had the joy of knowing you for a while, you are the ultimate spark plug, motivating people that as they age, you don't hold back. Glenna, correct me if I'm wrong, you were like a young kid. During the summer, you're planting gardens and stuff. Is that right, Glenna?
Yes, I did. And this winter, I want to start knitting and keeping myself busy that way. I like to take a string and see what you can make with it.
Well,
What you can develop it into.
Well, I know you. I'm sorry I cut you off. I was going to say you're a member of the Red Hat Society as well, correct?
Yes. And I wanted to put my 2 cents in when you ask somebody their age.
Yes.
They'll say, how old are you? They say, can you keep a secret? They'll say, yes. I say, I can too.
Oh, that's so cute.
Well, Glenna is cute as well, so it ties right in. But I have more of a philosophical question, challenge, so to speak. I don't know how many people that plan on having their Thanksgiving via Zoom meetings. I'm doing it, and the good news is my family is sort of spread out. I have a sister in Toronto, and I've got nephews and nieces in Arizona and Florida. So we're going to have a Zoom meeting where we all can at least enjoy each other's thoughts. And in order to add a little spice, so to speak, to the meal, it would be interesting to find out from people, if you did not know your age, what age do you feel? And that's something that I think is really the difference between some people begrudging that they've been around so long, and they feel, oh my goodness, I mentioned my age, people are going to think I belong in a wheelchair or something. That's not necessarily so. Take examples like Glenna, who drives out when the weather was good to different parts of Michigan to show your craft. Remind me again, Glenna, what is it that you were promoting in the knitting concept?
I also tatting, tatting.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lace making technique with a shuttle. Mm-hmm. And I go to several different cities I'm invited there to demonstrate my tatting. And, it's almost a dying art. Yes. There's not too many people doing it anymore.
Well, I'll tell you, people like you, and I don't want to give out your phone number, but they can call our toll-free number, 888-489-8980, and with their permission, that's the wonderful thing about radio. You can listen to us while you're driving and not be interrupted, and at the same time connect with people that you never would have had a chance even before the COVID thing. And as a suggestion, if you're going to want to ingratiate yourself to people that are more fragile, why not give them a gift card for someone like Rose Sweet Services, where she can help that senior, or that person does not have to be a senior, if they're physically challenged, and the cooking portion and the house cleaning portion, and also having the benefit of having another human being that you can be in touch with. So call us if you'd like us to arrange for a gift certificate for you to provide here, if you want to have a meal delivered. And now, since you can't run around as much as before, use the telephone and call people that you haven't talked to in a while. And I encourage upbeat people like you, Glenna, and also Rose, if you want to actually provide a hello type service, just saying hello, just wondering how you're doing, is there anything that you need? The best gift that you can give someone is to make them as comfortable in life as is possible. And since since we're celebrating Thanksgiving, which is the best holiday that I look forward to, is that what is it devoted to? To be thankful and grateful of what we have. We still, despite our politicians squabbling and all, have the most benefits in this country than almost any other country in the world. And we should be thankful. And you should be thankful for those people that are around that you can talk to. And share your thoughts with your friends. And Glenna and Rose, you are true friends.
Yes.
and I hope it continues in that vein. And if you have a particular skill that you want to share, take example of like what Glenna is doing in terms of helping people, teach them. You can do that now with technology as well. So as far as different ways of reaching out, Glenna, your Red Hat Society, although it's not meeting as frequently, they are still meeting. Is that correct?
No, not now. They canceled it.
They canceled it? All right. Well, the point is that some of the different service organizations, what they're doing is limiting the number of people that are in the same room, and whoever cannot attend in the same room, they call in and have a verbal conversation. And Glenna, I'm so glad you called in. I have something more to be thankful for. God bless, and we will talk again soon.
I have one quick question for you.
Go ahead.
I need to find pink sea salt, and I don't know where in the world to start looking for it.
Sea salt? Yeah. Yes, go ahead.
Well, you could go to a health food store and get it.
And get pink sea salt?
Yes, I know of a few health food stores that have it, but I can't think of the big health food store in your neighborhood.
Right, and Livonia, there's
Zerbos.
There's Zerbos.
Yeah.
And now that's the wonderful thing about technology is Harry Zerbo, you talk about age, I think he was in his 80s and he was still showing people how to exercise properly, which
I think I can do the same thing. I felt thrilled. I was just learning something. So we had a nice day and I got outside and I learned it. You know what I mean? I always had my food.
Wow.
And I had a new technique. So I was really happy.
Right. Well, thanks so much for calling in. Unfortunately, I have to wrap it up, and I never want to leave this show without my favorite parting thought, which is, yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. And that's why we call it the present. Please enjoy your present by looking and living life with the bright side of aging.
WNZK has available a few good hours of airtime for a few good programs to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500. This is WNZK. Dearborn Heights, Detroit. Your ethnic superstation at 690 days, 680 nights.
والعمر في كم يوم حتى نعيش لا تشتكي وتلوم عمر الحزن ما يدوم والعمر فيه كم يوم حتى نعيش بنار